Stories shape us, they shape our lives and careers. And that was the case with me. Just the other day, I found this email that I printed out from one of my best senior managers that I've ever had, Hal Sullivan. And it brought me so much joy. And then decided I wanted to share it with you because maybe this will impact your career as well, and as much as it impacted my career. So here it is. It's the parable of the oranges. And he wrote, consider what this story teaches you about the power of real intent. So here's the story. There was a young man who had ambitions to work for a company because it paid very well and was very prestigious. He prepared his resume and had several interviews. Eventually, he was given an entry level position. Then he turned his ambition to his next goal, a supervisor position that would afford him even greater prestige and even more pay. So he completed the tasks he was given. He came in early some mornings and stayed late so the boss would see him putting the long hours in. After 5 years, a supervisor position became available. But to the young man's great dismay, another employee was given the promotion. The young man was so angry that he went to his boss and demanded an explanation. The wise boss said, before I answer your questions, would you do a favor for me? Yeah, sure, said the employee. Would you go to the store and buy some oranges? My wife needs them. The young man agreed and went to the store. When he returned, the boss asked, what kind of oranges did you buy? I don't know, the young man answered. You just said to buy oranges, so I grabbed some. Here they are. How much did they cost? The boss asked. Well, I'm not sure, he replied. You gave me $30. Here is the receipt, and here is the change. Thank you, said the boss. Now please have a seat and pay careful attention. Then the boss called in the employee who had received the promotion and asked him to do the same job. He gladly agreed and went to the store. When he returned, the boss asked, what kind of oranges did you buy? Well, he replied, the store had many varieties. They were they were navel oranges, Valencia oranges, blood oranges, tangerines, and many others. And I didn't know which kind to buy. But I remembered you said your wife needed the oranges, so I called her. She said she was having a party and that she was going to make orange juice. So I asked the grocer which of these oranges would make the best orange juice. He said the Valencia oranges was full of very sweet juice, so that's what I bought. I dropped them by your house on my way back to the office. Your wife was very pleased. How much did they cost? The boss asked. Well, that was another problem. I didn't know how many to buy, so I once again called your wife and asked her how many guests she was expecting. She said 20. I asked the grocer how many oranges would be needed to make juice for 20 people, and it was a lot. So I asked the grocer if he could give me a quantity discount, and he did. These oranges normally cost 75 cents each, but I paid only 50 cents. Here is your change and the receipt. The boss smiled and said, thank you. You may go. He looked over at the young man who had been watching. The young man stood up, slumped his shoulders, and said, I see what you mean. And he walked out the office quietly. What was the difference between these two men? They were both asked to buy oranges, and they both did. You might say that one went the extra mile, or one was more efficient, or one paid more attention to details. But the most important difference had to do with the real intent, rather than just going through the motions. The first young man was motivated by money, position, and fame. The second man was driven by an intense desire to solve a problem and an inner commitment to be the best employee he could possibly be. And the outcome was obvious. How can you apply this parable in your life? And this is the story that stayed with me for years, the parable of oranges, and remembering the power of intent. That it's not just about solving a problem, it's about finding a solution that solves the problem. I hope this story helps you just as much as it helped me. And please share your stories if you have some that shaped your life and career. I'd be happy to read them. And if you give me permission, I would create a video and share them with others. Thank you for listening.